Hello, my friends, and welcome to a brand new show I'm going to be putting on this channel. I had a pretty cool idea, I think, to get through my backlog. I know everyone's got one, and I am no exception, so I wanted to go through each game, and as I go through them, share my opinions on how they went. You might be surprised to see what was in my backlog, but then again, you might not. So, today, I'm sure you've seen the title of the video, I'm going to be talking about Immortals Fenyx Rising. I had no real expectations for this game other than it looked okay. It looked like Breath of the Wild, but with some Greek inspiration, but made by Ubisoft. And right there, that is what usually loses me. I have not been into Ubisoft games that much lately, as everyone knows. They all feel pretty samey. But here I am, talking to you guys about one that I actually feel deserves more attention than it really got or really gets. Immortals was kind of that thing that really interested me because I wasn't really into Breath of the Wild. It just wasn't for me. I'm an old school Zelda fan and I like going through the story and having more RPG mechanics and less of the creative thing. Creative games are great, but I do just like going through and doing the collectathon thing and kicking ass while I'm doing it. Immortals definitely scratches that itch, but with all of the cool things, nearly all of the cool things, that make Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom so unique. Here, it's applied, like I said, with this Greek mythology twist, and man, it was so much better than I thought. So when you start this game, you'll have a pretty basic character creator you can make some interesting characters with, but then you'll be introduced to a bunch of the Greek gods one by one as you're making your way through this intro. And we can't not bring up how many jokes there are in this and how much there is a sense of levity throughout this entire game. And I think the level of comedic tone that this game has really does sell it for me. If you are a fan of anything Greek mythology, you will really love this. If not for the fact that there is a lot you could learn about Greek mythology and maybe things you didn't know, but at the same time, there's a lot of like introspective joking that happens with these characters and how absurd some of these situations that Greek gods and goddesses really get into in Greek lore. It really likes to play around with that idea on the regular, and for some people, the comedy and tone of this game might turn you off. I know for me, it took me a couple of times to really even get into it as I started this game, played for a few hours, and then bounced, and then tried again later and still didn't grab me. But when I did actually sit down, put myself in that state of mind that I'm in the mood for something a little lighthearted, then it really grabbed me. And I really ended up enjoying it so much that it kind of became all I played for almost a week. I so enjoyed meeting each Greek god through the story. Like I said, you can tackle them in any order. But honestly, finding each god and helping them with each of their new problems, because they've all been taken prisoner by Typhon, is always a joy. Each of them has a very unique thing that is going wrong with them that really kind of complements them as a character. The strong character, Ares, for example, is turned into a measly chicken. And so this dude is just down on his luck when you first meet him, and you have to really build up his confidence again as you are trying to build back his true form. Things like that are just so interesting to me, and the way they play with the lore inside every one of these little mini stories that lead up to the larger picture. And while you are helping out these gods, you will be bringing them back to this Hall of Heroes place that basically serves as your hub to upgrade your character, to mingle with the different gods you've saved, and to talk with and use your buddy Hermes as, kind of your guiding hand through the game and pretty much your best friend and pal through this game too. And I found him quite interesting, especially with his ties to the gods and his unique perspective on each of their personalities and situations that they were stuck in. But really, every character in this game is quite good. There wasn't a single character that I even rolled my eyes at and said, I could really do without this character. They were all so interesting and had so many unique things to say, and even their own very well thought out character arcs, even down to your little companion bird that you can and really should go after first thing in this game, not only because he accompanies you and has some very, very good character progression. Yes, the bird has good character progression, but he's also a very useful in game mechanic and serves as one of your abilities throughout the rest of the game. And I really did enjoy the writing in this game. I thought it was very touching at times, and it actually brought a lot of emotion to our main character. Fenyx isn't just a blank slate. They have feelings, they have emotions, they have goals, they have regrets, they have insecurities that they need to work through throughout this game because at the start they feel very unworthy of the situation that they're put in and basically live in the shadow of their older sibling who is their main driving force at the start for going on this adventure anyway. Because everyone in this world is turned to stone and they want to figure out how to fix this whole situation brought on by Typhon. Fenyx as a character was just easy to get behind. Whether playing as a male or female character, the dialogue came together very nicely to make this character kind of emotionally resonant. They really have to serve as the backbone for a lot of the things and insecurities that you're dealing with these other Greek gods. If you know anything about Greek lore, there is a lot of emotional baggage there. A lot. And even though the main character and focus of the game is Fenyx, the whole thing is being narrated between Zeus and Prometheus, who are telling this story in retrospect. And this becomes one of the coolest parts of this game because you may wonder if you have a reliable narrator with all of the emotional baggage that is there between Zeus and Prometheus in the first place. Their commentary on the things that you are doing and even the progression and what you're doing as Fenyx. And even when you're dealing with some emotional baggage type things with the different Greek gods, it really helped to have Zeus there as their father to really bring home the emotional presence of their problems. It was very interesting to see his perspective as he watched Fenyx take care of all these different problems and help the sons and daughters that he maybe has neglected or not treated very well come to terms with their basically dysfunctional family. And I am proud to say that I even 100% this game and did everything in the core game. I haven't played the season pass stuff, so if you have played that, don't spoil me in the comments because I will get to it because I do think it could be pretty darn good. However, back to the actual game itself, to play, this game is pretty basic. It doesn't do a lot to move forward, a lot of mechanics and things from other games that you have played, but it does do a very good job in making everything feel very satisfying and have a very good progression path. You start with your sword, which has some pretty basic combos with this kind of pseudo Dark Souls-y one-on-one combat going on, but with enough forgiveness, especially with the parry window and dodges, that it more feels like a character action game soon after you start. The Dark Souls inspired ish combat really only applies to the beginning when you are really underpowered. But as the story goes on and you find more abilities, you can apply power ups to your weapons, you can find new combos, a bow and arrow for long range, a big old hammer that you can swing to use to stagger enemies and build up their stagger meter to leave them open for big, big damage, and even big ultimate moves that I won't spoil here because they are very fun to use, and even some telekinetic like abilities that you can pick things up and throw things back. The more I played this game, the more I appreciated this little combat sandbox that felt so simplistic at the start, but by the end, I could string together combos and abilities so effectively that I felt like a Greek god myself, even though that isn't really even the main focus of the game. The main focus of the game here is just to adventure, is just to experience this story. A story that is pretty open ended and can kind of be tackled in any way that you really want. The only thing stopping you here and there is acquiring certain abilities, which, if you want, you can go straight after from the start. And it was really this level of freedom that caught my attention and had me playing this so much. Every activity you find feels like it has meaning behind it. It doesn't just feel like filler, which is the thing I was most scared about when playing this game for the first time. Because as most people know, with a lot of Ubisoft games, they love to copy and paste certain activities just to have things to do. And just having things to do doesn't necessarily mean that your time feels fulfilling when you are putting the time in to do all the things. This game here in Immortals, it doesn't have that problem. And that really made me so happy and so surprised and satisfied when going through it. You can find everything from these little orb puzzles that you could find orbs around an area and then make a constellation in order to get certain coins of Charon that you could use for upgrades and abilities to your character, making them very, very fun to seek out as they're not only kind of fun to figure out, but they have a meaningful impact on my character's progression. And this isn't the only place you'll be getting these coins. You'll be getting them all over for a myriad of activities, along with treasure chests that unlock different gear pieces for different armor sets in the game. And there is a ton of different armor sets and a ton of different transmog options for your character so that you don't have to stick to just one look if you really want those abilities. I was so appreciative of this because, as a lot of people may know from me, I am the fashion game dude. I love making my character look awesome or just to fit in with what I'm doing at any given time. I hate being stifled by just having a gear set that maybe doesn't look like how I want to look, but I love using. So that was much appreciated. Now, finding all of these items, all these armors and things, is a very fun thing to do in this game, but there is a lot of land to traverse and a lot of places that things can be hidden. And that's when the spotting mechanic comes in. You can basically climb to any of the highest points in the game and use a spotting glass or spyglass type mechanic to then look around and find different objects in the world, different points of interest on the map. And you can mark those by pressing the R2 trigger or whatever controller you're using. This mechanic came in absolute clutch when I was trying to find certain armor pieces to go with others that I had found. And it really helped have a sense of, I want to go there and do that thing kind of progression rather than just going to your map, tagging a thing, and going to it. It's much less map driven and more, I want to go see that interesting thing over there. But that isn't quite always the case because you can tag things through walls and buildings. As long as you're looking right at it, you can tag it. But it always says, hey, there's something interesting over there. Go look at it. And that just keeps you going. It keeps you adventuring. And it keeps you in the game and less inside of menus and things like that. This game almost feels like the antithesis to everything that Ubisoft is usually up to. It's so strange to me that this didn't actually do as well as, it probably should have. And that's partially probably because of Ubisoft's reputation. But at the same time, when you look at this game, it doesn't really look like anything unique that you haven't played before. And in some cases, that is very much the case. But at the same time, just having something good, even if it's a little familiar, can sometimes be just what the doctor ordered. And this is one of those cases, especially when it came to this game's unique take on Greek mythology. I cannot recommend this game enough, and recently it was even given away for free on Ubisoft Connect. So if you picked it up, or even have the slightest interest in Greek mythology or even adventure games, I really do think this is worth a look. I do think it's worth a playthrough. I think it's even just worth a try. So go ahead and jump into this one because I am pleasantly surprised with how much I enjoyed this game. And props to Ubisoft Quebec and Ubisoft in general on even putting this thing out. And I really hope in the future that this doesn't quite stay shelved because at the moment, it has been said by Ubisoft that it is shelved for the foreseeable future. So I am happy that this really comes as a complete package and a very satisfying package on its own. So even if we don't get a sequel or don't even continue with this series at all, I am very happy that we at least got this. If you're still here after all of that disjointed commentary, thank you so much for stopping by. I really wanted to share my love for this game because I honestly do regret not giving it a chance a lot sooner because I would have loved to spread the word on how fun of an experience this game really is. So if you have played this, what was your thoughts on it? What was your take? Did you vibe with the comedy in this? Did you enjoy the combat the most? Or did you just enjoy adventuring around and meeting the different characters in this world as your main drive like I did? Comment below and let me know because I'm honestly curious to see if I'm just crazy or if this game was actually that good. Like the video if you really enjoyed this and you want the algorithm that we all bow to recommend you more of my videos in the future. Or if you want to support me directly, go ahead and subscribe to be notified of whenever my next video goes live. Thank you so much for stopping by. Peace.